Alright guys, well, because this guide was so long, I decided to make a little template here for you guys at the beginning to show you what time each part of the guide starts. So, I'll just throw this up for a couple of seconds, and I hope this guide helps you guys out a lot. Hey guys, welcome to my runecrafting guide. So, before we actually get into what you should runecraft and what's best at every level, there's a few basic things that you need to know. First, we'll start with the summoning familiars. At level 54 summoning, you can use an abyssal parasite. At level 62 summoning, you can use a lurker. And at level 93 summoning, you can use an abyssal titan. Now, once you're 62 summoning, you do not need to worry about getting 93 because all the summoning familiars hold the same amount of essence, except the lurker lasts the longest. So the abyssal titan actually has almost no point to it for actually runecrafting because the lurker holds the same amount of essence and lasts longer. So that is the familiar I would recommend for your runecrafting if you are going to be using a familiar. Next thing we'll talk about is your pouches. Below level 50 runecrafting, you need to kill the creatures in the abyss to get the small and medium pouch. After level 50, you can go to the Runecrafting Guild and buy a large pouch for 25k and a giant pouch for 50k from Wizard Korvac. The best way to get to the Runecrafting Guild is to use a Glory or a Explorer's Ring teleport to Draenor, and from there you can just run south until you get to the Runecrafting Guild, which you need level 50 to enter, and I will show you exactly how in a second. You do not need to be level 75 to buy the giant pouch from Korvac. However, you do need to be level 75 to be able to use it. Korvac will also replace your medium pouch for free. So once you get to the Wizard's Tower, go in through the doors, climb up the staircase, and go through that little portal there in the wall. Once you're in there, all you have to do is find Wizard Korvac, and you can talk to him, and he will sell you the pouches. Can you help me with my essence pouches? He will also restore them, but it is not worth it, one, for the run you go here, or for the money. So I will show you guys now how to repair your pouches once they have become degraded. Once one of your pouches have degraded, there's a couple ways for you to repair them. When runecrafting, you can choose to wield a Staff of Air if you don't need to wield another kind of staff. Like for ZMI, you need an Earth Staff or a Mud Staff, but we'll get into that later. When crafting most types of runes, you can wield a Staff of Air. This makes it so when you have to use NPC Contact, which requires 2 air runes, 1 cosmic and 1 astral, and you bank to withdraw runes, you only have to withdraw a cosmic and an astral rune instead of having to withdraw 2 airs as well, since you're already wielding an air staff. So once you click NPC Contact, there's one trick to speed it up. After you click it and scroll down quickly and hit Dark Mage, a little chat box will come up. Now you do not have to worry about reading through every little thing to worry about misclicking in the chat box. There's one trick I use, and that's looking for the warning screen. Now the warning screen is looking for an unusual amount of lines in the chat, because you'll notice as you go through here that every single line before the warning screen has 2 lines of text. So what I do is I just spam click until I see the 3 lines of text, and then move my mouse to the middle because that's where the repair pouches option is going to be. So you'll see what I mean right now. Clicking, 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 warning screen, middle, middle, boom, it's repaired. So as you can see, you can get used to it, maybe practice a couple of times, but it really is easy to look for and do. So just click it until you see the 3, move to the middle, repair, and then you're done. After you click continue, of course, on the chat screen, and then your pouch gets repaired. So that's the trick I use to speed up pouch repairs. Now, if for some reason you cannot use the NPC Contact spell, the other popular way to repair your pouches is through the Abyss. Now really quick, I should mention that in the recent update of the Livid Farm, Jagex introduced a new spell called the Repair Rune Pouch. However, for the time that it takes to unlock this spell, it is actually not worth it to use it or go get it if you are just aiming for 99 runecrafting. So if you have not already unlocked this spell, it is not worth it to go get it if you're going to get 99 runecrafting. Some quick math to show that is the NPC Contact spell doesn't take any more than 12 seconds, and you only have to use it about a few times per hour. So this repair runes pouch spell could probably only save 30, maybe 40 seconds generously per hour. And since it only takes a little bit over 200 hours to get 99 runecrafting overall with the fastest method, then it only ends up saving over 100 to 110 minutes. So it is not worth it to go and get if you do not already have it unlocked. Then NPC contact still is the best way. Unless you already have the repair rune pouch unlocked, then use that. Now, if you're going to repair your pouches through the abyss, it's best to keep some kind of pickaxe in your runecrafting tab. So when you're ready to repair your pouches, you simply click on the pickaxe, and then you can exit your bank and go repair your pouches. So to get to the abyss, best way is to be in Edgeville, or teleport to Edgeville if you are somewhere else, past the Wilderness Bear. Some people enjoy PKing, or trying to PK people who are runecrafting. So if you get nervous or you don't like coming out here, you can bring a piece of food with you or teleport. I'm already wearing a glory, so that's what I have. Once you get out here, right click on the Mage of Zamrock and click teleport. Now be careful because entering the abyss will make you scold. Now the reason you bring a pickaxe is because you don't always spawn. I got lucky and spawned right next to an agility shortcut. But you won't always spawn next to an agility shortcut. You can spawn near a thieving or a mining also, as well as fire making and other things, but most of the time you'll spawn near an agility or a mining shortcut, so that's why you have a pickaxe. Simply click on the shortcut, whichever one it may be. The agility is squeeze through the gap, and then run toward the center where that NPC dot is. Right click on the dark mage and click to repair pouches. He will repair your pouches and then you're good, and then teleport back to whatever kind of runes you are doing and resume your crafting. Another thing some players like to do is bring essence with them in their pouches as they go to repair their pouches in the abyss, and then simply exit through one of the runecrafting altar barriers in the abyss, make runes, and then teleport back to whatever rune that they were doing. So here's a really quick tip to help make your runecrafting laps and trips a little bit faster that a lot of people don't seem to think of. No matter how good your computer is, this can help. Just go to your options and settings, and whatever kind of thing that you're in, just go to minimum detail. Instead of having it on high detail, we all know it looks nice. However, having your computer or the settings in minimum detail while runecrafting makes it so that your teleport screens and the loading screens when entering the altar last, well, less as long, I guess you could say. They're not as long. So it speeds you up a little bit every lap and just makes the whole process faster. You open your bank faster, everything loads faster. So runecrafting is one of those skills that it does help to have your screen in low detail on. That's why most of this guide is going to be in low detail instead of the pretty kind of high detail, because low detail does help with getting the better experience. Alright guys, so the first part of this guide is about the fastest way to get from level 1 to 99 runecrafting. So, for levels 1 to 14, you're going to be doing air runes. The ideal setup things that you need for this is either a air tiara or an Omni Tiara, which allows access to every altar, but an air tiara will be just fine, and some weight reducing armor. As you can see, I'm wearing agile armor and some other things. However, as long as your weight is at 0 kg or anywhere below it, you can wear whatever else you want. Just as an example, I'm wearing dragon boots with agile armor, and my weight is still negative 8 kg. And anything below 0 is the same as 0 for weight, as far as how fast it reduces your run energy. So if you want to wear something for style, as long as you're below 0 kg, you can do that. Something else I'm wearing to make my laps a bit easier is the Staff of Air and Explorer's Ring 4. The Staff of Air for if I need to use NPC contact, all I have to do is withdraw 1 Cosmic and 1 Astral rune, and I'll already have the air runes. If I hadn't already deposited them, I will be wearing an air staff. And the other things is the Explorer's Ring 4 gives you a chance of crafting more elemental runes when you craft. So you can get a couple more runes out of it if you're wearing that. Not to mention the fact that it does have a run replenish, so you don't have to use an energy pot until you've used up all your run replenishes, and you get more depending on which ring you have. Alright guys, so now I'll show you what a basic run is going to look like. I'm not using mouse keys in this video because just a guide to show you from 1 to 99. I will make another video though at some point, probably sooner rather than later, showing the fastest laps and fastest ways to do laps at every single altar. But for now, I'll just show you the basics of what the laps are supposed to look like without screen markers or mouse keys. Also, for air runes and fire runes, you're going to be using rune essence, not pure essence. We will get into the pure essence part later, but for now, rune essence costs a lot less and you get the same experience at air runes. One other thing worth mentioning real quick is it is best to have whatever essence type that you are using in the top right slot of your bank screen, because it is closest to the X to close out and closest to the mini-map where you're going to be clicking. Also, because we are using a familiar, we need to close the bank screen anyway, so it's best not to fill your pouch with the right click option in the bank screen. Just close your bank first, and I'll show you right now what I mean by that. Here's how your basic lap's going to go for air runes. Withdraw your rune essence, close your bank, click your pouch to fill it, right-click your Abyssal Lurker, hit Store, hit X. Also, in the Abyssal Lurker screen, to fill it, go down to your bottom row in your inventory where your essence is, and then you can just right-click and left-click on the essence, because once you right-click, you're already on Store All. This way you don't need to click and scroll down. You can just immediately right and left-click to store. Go back into your bank, withdraw more essence, and then click on your mini-map to start running. Also, it doesn't matter where you have your Varrock teleport set to, because you're not going to be at air runes for a very long time. Believe it or not, this method is about 11.3k experience per hour, and since we're only doing this to level 14, you won't be doing air runes for more than 15 minutes. So you also want to have your familiar option to set to left click take BOB. So you'd click to withdraw the essence from there, right click empty on your small pouch, and then teleport back to Varrock. Now technically it is 2 seconds faster about per lap if you have your Varrock teleport set at the middle of Varrock instead of the Grand Exchange. However, you're only going to be here for no more than 15 minutes. So that's your basic lap. You come into the bank, deposit air runes, draw essence, and repeat. And in almost no time, you will be at level 14 Runecrafting. So I will see you guys there. Alright, the next step in our journey to 99 Runecrafting is making fire runes. Now, from level 14 to 25, you'll be making fire runes using an Abyssal Lurker and a small pouch. At level 25, we'll also withdraw the medium pouch, but I'll get to that in a second. There's a couple things different about making fire runes than air runes. One is I recommend having your left click option on your familiar set to interact instead of take BOB. The reason being is banking at Castle Wars or Edgeville if you feel like it, however Castle Wars is much better, is there's a lot of other familiars and it can sometimes be very hard to find your Abyssal Lurker. So instead of clicking through a big pile of familiars, once you're in your bank interface and you're ready to leave it to fill your familiar, you can just click the familiar icon and then click store. This way there's no searching at all for your familiar, and it exits your bank for you at the same time. So now I will show you. Oh, also, you're not going to be wearing an explorer's ring, you're going to be wearing a ring of dueling. This is because you will be teleporting to Castle Wars to bank, and you'll be teleporting to the duel arena to craft fire runes. So I'll show you now what a basic fire rune run should look like from level 14 to 25. I also believe this is the best place to have your small pouch, because since you're not left clicking take BOB, you're going to have to right click to take the BOB, and that's going to end up right next to the small pouch here. So you take BOB and then switch right down into your small pouch to empty. So that's exactly how it would go. So you start at your bank, click Rune Essence, store your familiar, exit the familiar screen and then click on the pouch, and then click back on the bank, withdraw the essence, and teleport to Duel Arena. Also, if you were wearing a air tiara instead of a Omni Tiara before, you're going to need a fire tiara. However, since I'm wearing an Omni Tiara, I can use it for both altars. Run up toward the altar, click it, take BOB, empty small, craft your runes, and then teleport to Castle Wars. And then you would come into the bank and repeat the process as such. Now, once you get to level 25, Alright, now that should be about 23.9k experience per hour, which means it should only take you about 17 minutes to get from level 14 to 25. Once level 25, you're going to take the medium pouch out of your bank and move the pouch position. You're moving the pouch position to make it easier overall to empty. So you'll be just right-clicking small pouch, left-clicking, and then immediately right-click and left-click the medium pouch as well, because the way that it's set up is you can left-click and right-click, and it's already on empty on your medium pouch. So now I'll show you what a run would look like when using the medium pouch as well. It would be almost the same thing. Withdraw your essence, store your essence in your familiar, fill both pouches with a click, bank, and then teleport to Duel Arena. Once you're at the Duel Arena, run up toward the fire altar and craft your runes. You do the same thing. Take BOB, withdraw your essence from the pouches, craft them, and teleport to Castle Wars. Now using the other pouch bumps it all the way up to almost 28k experience per hour, which means that should only take you about 3.5 hours to get from level 25 to level 50, and level 50 is where you are going to start ZMI. So, enjoy making your fire runes, guys, and I'll see you at level 50. Here's another quick little tip that might make your rune crafting a bit easier, and if you didn't know it, most people do, but some people don't, so I figured I'd throw it in here. You can use the F keys to change your inventory setup screen. So F1 is for your inventory, F2 goes to your equipment screen, F3 for prayer, F4 for spells. So for fire runes, it would be something like hitting F2 instead of clicking over to inventory screen and going to teleport to Duel Arena, or after you craft your fire runes, clicking your inventories or clicking your equipment screen and going to teleport to Castle Wars. You could craft and then immediately start moving down to where your duel ring is, and then hit F2 just to teleport back to there, or to hit F2 to go onto that screen to hit your duel arena and teleport there. So if you didn't know about the F keys before, you do now. Alright guys, now that you're level 50 rune crafting, you are going to be at ZMI. I'll start off by saying there is an official ZMI world, which is world 70. However, I do not recommend using it if you have 70 plus defense. The reason being is that there's so many people and familiars there, it makes it hard to, 1, find your own familiar, and 2, just lessens your overall lap speed because of lag when you're teleporting and everything. So if you have 70 plus defense, I definitely recommend rune crafting on your own world. Now the prayers that you need to have set up depend on your defense level as well. If you're around 75 to 80 defense or under that, then I recommend having your quick set prayers set to pray range and rapid renewal, and those will be the prayers you'll have on during all of your laps. If you find yourself not getting hit too much between 70 and 80 prayer, or 80 plus defense I meant, then just have it set to protect from range or protect from missiles, and if you're on curses it would be deflect missiles. Now to get to what you need to wear. For a helm, you do not need any tiara to use ZMI, so it is best to have a helm with some kind of defense. I prefer a Netsi Knot helm. For the amulet, I prefer an Amulet of Glory, just because of the defense bonus, and because we'll be using it more often later, but for now you are going to have tele runes in your inventory, which I will get to in a second. So the amulet is really up to you, but it's definitely worth it to have a Glory on. For cape, I recommend having the Arty Cape 2 or higher. The reason being is wearing it while crafting runes at ZMI altar makes you make about 15% more runes. It's not extra experience, but it is more runes overall that you make. So any loss that you're taking from crafting at ZMI at this low of a level will just be lessened by you wearing the Arty Cape, because you'll get more runes. And then you will start to profit even higher after level 70 to 75, somewhere in between there. For your staff, you need to wear either an earth or a mud staff. The reason being is it is required, there's 6 earth runes required for a teleport, and you will not always get the runes you need. So it is best to, you will not always get that amount of earth runes that you need, and it is not worth it to have thousands of earth runes also in your inventory taking up another space when you can just go ahead and wear an earth or mud staff. You really only need an earth staff, as you can see, like this guy has. So some people just buy a mud staff, I guess, for the style. Personally, I like how it looks as well. Alright, I will wait to do the chest plate and the legs until last because they're the most important and complicated. For the shield, I chose to have the Falador Shield 3. You can use Falador Shield 2. I like them because of their prayer restore option and because of their weight and defense bonuses. Blessed shields also work pretty well. For gloves, wear the best gloves you can if you've done Recipe for Disaster, or substitute it for the best dragon hide vambraces that you can wear. For boots, you need the boots of lightness. For ZMI, that is definitely highly recommended. And the ring is also another thing that is optional. You can choose to wear a ring of dueling if you want it for its teleports, in case you don't make the tele runes after 75 when you don't have these in your inventory. Or you can wear the explorer's ring like I have on, and the reason that I have it, mainly because of its run replenish option. So if I'm running low on energy and I forget to take out an energy potion when I bank, I can just switch to my equipment tab and then click run replenish, and acts as a very nice energy potion in case I forget my energy potion out of my bank. So it's always a nice little backup to have, plus it has decent bonuses. Alright, now to get to the chest and the legs. If you have 85 plus agility and you can afford Armadillo, the best thing to wear is Agile top with Armadillo plate legs, or as it's now called, Armadillo chain skirt. And if you cannot afford Armadillo, then substitute the Armadillo chain skirt for black dragon hide, so you'd be wearing Agile top with black dragon hide legs. If you don't have Agile armor, but you can afford Armadillo, then just wear Armadillo top and legs with the boots of lightness. And if you don't have Agile armor and you can't afford Armadillo either, then just wear regular black dragon hide top and legs. However, if you do wear just black dragon hide top and legs, you will need to have lots of regular energy potions in your bank next to your pure essence, because you'll be pulling them out often. If you don't happen to be just using dragon hide, well, if you do happen to be using just dragon hide, pull out the energy pot when you bank at 35% or less run energy. I have actually did this when I was a lower runecrafting experience, but I did it for almost 30 mil runecrafting experience before I got Agile armor or Armadillo, and it wasn't that bad once I got used to it. So as you can see, I still have the energy potions positioned right next to my pure essence in the bank, because if you're going at a decent speed, every once in a while you will run out of energy and need to take it out. Also, for right now, between 50 and 75 runecrafting, I already have astrals in my inventory, so I have the cosmic runes up here directly under the pure essence, so I can just take one out, along with already having the air runes in my inventory to cast NPC contact. Now, real quick, I'll talk to you about the runes in my inventory. Between levels 50 and 75, it is best, I believe, to have astrals and laws in your inventory. The reason being is because as you get a higher runecrafting level, there's a higher chance to craft better types of runes. So at a lower runecrafting level, like between 50 and 75, you're going to be crafting closer to basic runes instead of more runes like astrals, laws, natures, deaths, and bloods. Also, after 75, you get a fourth pouch, which adds to how many runes that you make per trip, and a higher chance of making the better runes in the first place. So you will also get the runes more often. So between levels 50 and 75, I recommend having astrals and laws in your inventory. Now, as you may have noticed, you need to pay runes to bank here. I recommend using air runes or fire runes. Now, I recommend air runes over fire runes because of the need to cast the NPC contact spell. If you're not using Abyss, or if you're using the Abyss to repair instead of the NPC contact, then use fire runes to bank because of their positioning in your bank. I just find it overall better than airs. However, if you do use NPC contact to repair, which I highly recommend to do if you can, then I think it's best to use air runes to bank, because then you already have them in your inventory, and for now you would just need to withdraw one cosmic rune along with the rest of your essence to be able to cast NPC contact, therefore speeding it up overall. Alright guys, here's where ZMI gets to be a bit of a pain in the butt. Now, you may think that it sounds bad, but it's really not. It only takes a little while to do if you're far from it. But for ZMI, you need to have a full bank. all bank spaces filled, and that includes having your pouches out and having everything in your inventory and everything that you're wearing needed. Everything needs to be ready, and you need to have a full bank. Now there's a few ways to do it. I will throw up a full guide sometime on how to fully fill your bank in easy ways, but some ways are the party room afros, all kinds of herbs, all kinds of potions, and then you can have them as 1, 2s, and 3s, and 4s all in there. So one kind of potion can fill up 4 different spots. There's really just a ton of different ways, and those are just some of it. Herbs, all kinds of logs, crossbow stocks. You can use log, like if you have 5 logs, you can create a crossbow stock with it, a short bow, a long bow with just that one kind of log, and so forth. Some people think it's a pain in the ass, and it is at the beginning, but once you fill it, it's worth it for ZMI. Alright, so now I'll show you guys what your basic ZMI lap is supposed to look like. First, you'll bank, pay with air runes, withdraw your essence, close the bank. Now you're going to want to fill your pouches before filling your familiar. Now one other thing you may notice is that you're only putting 4 out of 7 essence into your familiar. That's okay between levels 50 and 75 for now, when you don't have the space for it to put more in your inventory, because it saves the bank time of banking again, you know, or banking in your bank screen. It is worth it to close the bank, quickly fill your pouches, and then the lurker. So withdraw your essence again, and then click on your mini-map to start running. And of course, have your prayers on, which would be protect range for me because my defense level is 91. So as you click to run on the path, you just keep running, and you can watch and rewind if you'd like to where I put my mouse to make for the best time, so I'm not running all over the place. There's a specific best lap. Once you get to the altar, first 2 things you're going to craft is your small and your large pouch. And then you're going to right click your medium pouch, left click as you start moving toward the altar, and left click on your familiar, and then click back on the altar. So also you're going to have your familiar option set to left click take BOB. So the full empty would be your inventory, small and large, and then medium and familiar. And then you click to teleport to Oriana and run back up the path. Also, there's an altar at the top of the path, and there's a quick and simple way to recharge your parents having to stop and do it. As you're running up the path, click between the altar and the ladder, click the altar, click the ladder, and as you can see, my prayer points got restored. Now for the banking part. You click the air runes, and because of all the runes in your inventory, this is why you want to have a full bank with all the astrals and all the laws in your inventory. So you hit bank all, and it deposits all those runes at once. And because you have a full bank, and all your astrals and laws and airs and pouches are in your inventory with none in your bank, it doesn't deposit any of the other things. But you want one of every other kind of rune in your bank besides the runes that you're having in your inventory. Lastly, before I show you guys what an ideal lap would look like, I would like to point out that instead of just having your withdraw X set to any number, I feel that it's best to set it to something like 333-777-333, or almost any 9 digits, but I prefer 3s and 7s. And that is because it's a lot easier to scroll down with your hand and click on those, that a large amount of numbers, than if it was just set to 1, then it's, you know, a lot harder to click, or at least I find that it is. So, see, as you can see, scroll down to 1 instead of all those big numbers. Alright, so now I will show you guys what an ideal lap would look like. Alright, there's one other thing worth mentioning when banking at ZMI, and that is that when you go to bank at him after you come down the ladder, you should talk to him, or left click on him first, so you talk to him really quick before the bank interface opens. And I'll demonstrate that for you real quick, and I'll tell you why. So you just left click and then right click. And you can right click a second before that the talk screen comes up, as long as it comes up really quick. And the reason being is so you can bank and withdraw your essence and blah 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 and put it in familiar, and then he actually stays in the same place because he's looking at you because you recently talked to him, so he stays there. So when you go store your lurker and whatever, he doesn't walk off in a different direction, so you don't end up having to run to go get him. So it's just a really quick left click, right click, boom, you're in the bank like that. And that's how you should bank with him. Alright guys, real quick before I show you the laps, I want to just tell you about how I like to angle my screen when I craft at ZMI. I like to start running south, and then I turn to face east. This way I can see the altar. And then once I click on the altar, I can just hit the compass to turn all the way north, and that puts me right to the side with the altar closest to my pouches. This way I can empty my pouch, and click on the altar because it's the side closest to the pouches. Once I teleport back to Oriana, I start turning my screen south, and then I stay with my screen facing south until after the bank, when I start turning my screen to face east again. So that's when I come down here, and then I bank while still facing south, and then I'd be running back this way. And then once I get to that corner up there, or even starting here if I feel like it, I start turning my screen east again. And that's the usual mode I like to get into when I ZMI and end up turning my screen like that, and I find it's the easiest and best way. Alright guys, so now I'll show you what your basic lap should look like. Bank, pay for the runes, withdraw essence, fill your pouches, fill your lurker, bank again and click on your mini map and start running. Turn your quick set prayers on. Now you should actually be leaving your quick prayers on. Well, just leave your prayers on in general the whole time, and then don't worry about turning them off. And then whenever you see your prayer getting low, you can just recharge the altar on your run. Alright, so I might as well tell you guys the experience rate. Between levels 50 and 75, it averages out, doing good laps, it averages out to be about 45k experience per hour, and that's actually really good for such a low runecrafting level. So it should only take you about 25 or so hours, well it can take you only about 25 or so hours to get from level 50 to 75 runecrafting. Which is, like I said, a pretty good experience rate for such a low level. So that was your basic lap for when you're this level runecrafting. So I will see you guys when you are level 75. Alright guys, so now that you're 75 runecrafting, you have a couple options. The first option we're going to talk about is pouch setup. And that's the options for those are either have it set up in a vertical row right here, or you can bring it down and set it up in a square. There's distinct advantages to having it set up in either one. For the square, the advantage comes when emptying your pouches at the altar. And that is because you can have it set up right there so that you can just left, right, left click on each set of pouches for when you craft. However, since the bank update, I find it better to have it in a vertical row because it makes banking easier, to where I can withdraw my pure essence, and when I go to fill these two pouches, or these if I feel like filling them in the bank, then it's right here at the top. However, it does make it a little bit more difficult to empty at the altar because when crafting you have to hit empty on that and then also right click and scroll down on the giant pouch. So you have to manually scroll down just a little bit on the giant pouch. However, it does not make that big of a difference either way. You can still fill it up in the bank screen the same exact way. However, it is mostly personal preference. The next choices you have comes between just using 4 pouches or using all 4 pouches plus a familiar. Now before the update where you could fill your pouches while in the bank, it was much better to use all 4 pouches plus a familiar. Could make almost a 5k experience per hour difference. However, since the update to where you can fill your pouches while in the bank screen, it only makes up to a 1 to 2k experience per hour difference than before. So it is also, like the previous thing, almost sort of a personal choice that you have to make. Personally, I use all 4 plus a familiar because it is not much harder. However, you can also just use the 4 without the familiar. So I will show you laps of each and explain how you have to work each lap depending on which one you choose. And remember guys, no matter what pouch setup that you use, make sure you have the small pouch comboed with the giant pouch and the medium pouch comboed with the large pouch. The reason is each pouch combination holds 15, and because of the way you empty it, if you were to empty with the giant with the large, a lot of essence would be left in there, and same if you emptied the medium with the small, you'd use all the essence, but then there'd be essence left from the giant and the large. So that's the best combination to make sure that all your essence gets out and maximizes the experience per lap. Also, really quick, something that you didn't have to worry about before 75 runecrafting because you had the teleport runes in your inventory is not getting the teleport runes. So I'll show you an example of what you should do. Sometimes when you craft at ZMI and you make all your runes, you will occasionally not end up with enough teleport runes. And what I mean by that is you will end up with not enough laws or not enough astrals. It won't happen often at the higher runecrafting level you get. So I'll just drop these astrals and we'll pretend I didn't get any astrals this craft. So boom, can't teleport to Oriana. That's why you're wearing a glory. All you have to do is switch over to your tab, teleport to Edgeville, or if you're wearing a Ring of Dueling, teleport to Castle Wars. Go into the bank, withdraw 2 astrals and a law, an inventory of pure essence, and teleport back to Oriana. Then you can fill your small and your giant pouch and continue from there just like nothing had ever happened. The last thing I want you to recognize is the way that I have my bank set up. The main things here are the pure essence being in the top right, and then where the cosmic astrals and law runes are. This is so when I need to repair my pouches and I go in bank, I can immediately just hit 1 cosmic and 1 astral, and then withdraw my essence and repair my pouch and then go on with it. Also, for if I teleport to Edgeville or Castle Wars, if I didn't get teleport runes, I can immediately go in my bank and click 2 astrals and a law. So for the repair pouches, you do the same thing. Just quickly hit an astral and a cosmic rune, go down to Dark Mage, and repair your pouches just like you normally would. So I just wanted to make sure you guys recognize the way that I have my bank set up. Alright, so the first kind of lap I'm going to show you is with all 4 pouches plus a familiar. So first I'll walk you through what the banking should be like, and then I'll show you a normally timed lap. So you'd start with the bank, go into your bank, withdraw essence, and instead of filling your first 2 pouches in the bank, you close your bank, fill your small giant pouch, then fill your familiar. Then you bank again, withdraw your essence, and fill your medium and your large pouch while in the bank interface. Withdraw your essence, and then click on your mini map to start running. Alright guys, so now I'll show you a lap with 4 pouches plus familiar, and as well as showing you how to empty at the altar. So first, you bank, close your interface, small giant, fill your familiar, bank again, fill your medium and your large in the bank interface, withdraw more essence, and start running. Now, at 75 runecrafting, if you can maintain 60 to 61 second laps, you can get up to 61k experience per hour with this method. And at 99 runecrafting, you can be getting up to just over 65k experience per hour with this method. So once you get to the altar, first thing you're going to empty is your small and your giant pouch. Then your medium and your large, and then your familiar. Teleport to Oriana, and then run back up the hill. Now sometimes you will have crafted a lot of runes and there will be some essence left in your large pouch, like right there's 1. Do not worry about that, that will sometimes happen. So go back to the bank, deposit, and just keep repeating the process. And there you go for your lap with the 4 pouches plus familiar. Alright, now to show you guys what your basic lap is going to look like with just using 4 pouches. So bank, draw your essence, fill your small and your giant, fill your medium and your large, fill your pure essence, and get going. Now, with this method at 75 runecrafting, you can top out at about 60 to 61k experience per hour, to whereas 4 pouches with the Abyssal Familiar could top out at 61 to a max of 63k experience per hour at 75. And at 99, you can get up to 63.5k experience per hour with this method, to where 4 pouches plus Familiar, without using any special tricks, can top out around 66k experience per hour. Now don't be fooled by the fact that you didn't see the second essence empty from the large pouch. As you can see, it did empty. There was just 2 left over. I just crafted at the right time to where you didn't see it empty. So now you're coming in and you bank, fill your small and your giant, fill your pure essence and your medium, large, and get going. Back again. So as you can see, the banking runs a lot smoother and faster than using it with Abyssal Familiar too. However, the sheer amount of extra essence that you use when bringing an Abyssal Familiar helps to compensate for the time. So there's your 4 pouches with no Abyssal Familiar, guys. Alright guys, so the grand total to get from 75 to 99 runecrafting should take between 190 and 191 hours, assuming you can maintain a 62.5k per hour average. Now remember, we're talking about the fastest way to get from 1 to 99 runecrafting, so we're only factoring in max rates. Of course, if you relax and go at a slower pace, it will take longer than 190 to 191 hours, but we're just talking about hypothetically speaking. So that also means that to go from level 1 all the way to 99 runecrafting could potentially take only 220 hours if you stay focused and you really strive hard for that goal. Well guys, there was my guide on the fastest way to get from level 1 to 99 runecrafting. I hope it helped a lot of you guys out, and it was one of my first guides in the series of making 1 to 99 guides for every single skill. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this and I hope it helped you. Remember to comment, rate, subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Good luck. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments and I will do my best to answer as many of them as I can.